you have a great list of ground truth. I mean, of course, you identify the problem with distance, and you have a great list of ground truths in your op-ed. Agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Robert Gates wants to improve agriculture commerce. So, what did you guys do? Let's see here. Oh, pomegranate farmers, market chains. You have a beautiful picture in this as well as to what the little market chain shed looked like. I mean, somebody thinks that's an amazing thing to build. I mean, there's like lots of people who'd like to build that in their backyard and put a barbecue pit under it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was one of the jokes. So, and a lot of this work I did with Rich for the Day, right? And one of the things I knew early on was that we suck at ag. I learned that in Iraq. Like, we had these absolutely preposterous situations in our head that if we brought people who are farmers certain things, that they would have to hire day laborers to come in and help them bring in the crop. So I would go out and ask these farmers, like, how much of a yield would you have to have with whatever it is that they raised to have to hire external people? And they would laugh in my face. It was one of my favorite things to have happen, is have them laugh in my face and go, I would never, ever, 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 ever hire anybody outside of my family. There is no crop so big I can't bring it in. It does not exist. So here is this whole thing the State Department and the Ag Department are doing. They're like, oh, we're gonna make these yields so large they'll have to hire all these whatever Iranian day laborers or village people from outlying areas. And it was never going to be the case. Or if it was so far off into the future, it was impossible for the farmer to see. But we would brief it all the time, like, oh, they're going to have so much yield. And then I would go out and I would see these efforts, greenhouses, drip irrigation. And you would imagine someone that's got, let's say, 10 football fields of active farmland in this one area, right? Who knows how much more, but let's just say a 10 football field area. And they've got drip irrigation from us. And it's an adorable little 40 square foot square with one tank above it, right? The entire rest of the land is laying fallow as they go, okay, here's your drip irrigation. I'll perform the thing. I'll show you. And you go to the next field over and it's lush and it's full and it's done by them. So how are we increasing yield? You go into these greenhouses. So I have a whole thing on greenhouses. But I looked into this in Iraq and I would ask the locals. And this one farmer broke it down for me. He's like, look, on the ground, I put a ground crop, right? Above that, I put a fruit tree crop, apples or whatever it is. Above that, I have dates. And I've built this canopy of moisture. It's not a lot, but in the desert, I don't need a lot. And that's how that's how I do my greenhouse, is by doing that. And that blew the Americans away when I reported that back. They're like, what are you talking about? That's not what he does. And I'm like, man, you know what? He thinks he does it. Doesn't matter if it's real or not. He thinks it does it, And so we're like, we're going to give people greenhouses. The mayor of this county that I was in said, hey, could you guys stop giving those things out? Because people line out outside of my door complaining about it. Either they want one, they're complaining about someone having one, or someone he wants another one. And I spend my entire day dealing with all of these people. You're causing my ability to be a governor to go down. And it was true. So I wrote about these. I called them, l'orangeries. People have these orangeries. And the thing is they don't yield a bigger crop. And so I was talking to this is a gig on my buddy Peter Van Buren, because he got mad at me when we were in theater together. And if you know Peter's work, you'll understand. And Peter's a friend, so I can say this. He was talking about these greenhouses. This is before like his light went all the way on. And to his credit, my light was not all the way on yet either. And I said, well, I'll go out and look into this. And so I was looking around trying to learn about greenhouses. And then as I'm taking off to leave, I take this incredible picture of all the farmland below me, and it's covered in plastic because they already know how to do greenhouse things. They just do it by covering their crops in plastic. And it was miles and miles and miles and miles of not our greenhouses. The rest of it caused social breakdown and instability because we would inject this capability that wasn't even relevant into this space. So when I say these things about ag teams, I know it's kind of a long thing, but it's a big answer, right? So when I say these things, it's coming from a lot of knowledge of watching us get this wrong. So I start with the premise of we're already getting this wrong. What do we actually know? And so I ask a major. This is a person with over 10 years in the military, and this guy is a farmer, right? And I say, so what is the market chain? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, I actually said, why are you fucking with it? And he's like, because that's my orders. My orders to come in here and do that, mess with it. And I'm like, okay, but they have a market chain already. You should understand what it is before you go to change it. And so the pomegranate farmers did have wholesalers. And so let's go to these collection centers. The collection center was there so that a farmer or a group of farmers could bring their crops into this place, and the wholesaler would somehow know that this was the place to go. There's not a sign on the goddamn thing or anything. And they would just sit there all day until some wholesaler showed up. Even though
But honestly, Pete, the picture you posted, if you hung some tarps on the front and you installed a few urinals, it would make a good outdoor bathroom. I mean, it was like what?
One of the things we collected was, what is this going to be? And one guy's like, I'm going to turn it into a shop. Another guy said, it's going to be a bus stop for our buses in town.
Yeah, it's not going to be a Big Lots, that's for sure.
And think about this. Now, when you brief this thing, right, the ag team's like, we're going to build these 18 collection centers throughout the province. There's going to be one here. And they show the site without one there. Like, show a picture of dirt. There's going to be right here. And then there'll be one here. And this is really going to improve the other. No, it's not. No, it's not. Matter of fact, you didn't ask anybody to do this. You didn't ask anybody's permission. You're just going to dump a bunch of cinder block on the ground. So whenever I found out where one was going to be, Rich and I would try to get to that spot because I was dying to ask the governor, hey, governor, what's that? And then the governor would be like, I haven't got the first fucking clue. I don't know what that is. I have no idea why that stuff is there. No one's asked me about it. I'm like, would it make you mad if they'd picked a piece of land and they were just, of course it makes me mad, you know? And I would ask all these, granted they're leading questions, but I'm telling this story because we would never even ask permission. We would put this thing there. And I guarantee you that having been in Iraq in almost 10 or Afghanistan, almost 10 years, not a single one of those things is being used to display crops because they already had a system for that. And it was frankly a better system than some stupid shack. You know, who wants to sit in a metal roofed shed in a place where it's 115 degrees in October? Right. You know, come on. That's dumb. By the way, the wholesalers come and they either buy the entire crop. They go, I see how much we've done business for 25 years, right? I'm going to come and buy the whole crop, or I'm going to come and buy these 15 trees. Or can you bring me? And here's the other thing. I always wanted to set up co-ops. Can you bring me however many tons of pomegranates to the market and we'll do a deal there. And so what the farmers would do is they would get together, they would co-op, and they would rent a big truck for all the people that wanted pomegranates delivered to a certain spot. They would bring in the crop themselves, maybe put it in their own minivan and drive it. I've seen a picture of a minivan, Brad, with 2,000 pomegranates in it. And I mean up to the top. Like the dude is driving in like a little cocoon of pomegranates all the way through the entire
And it
minivan.
doesn't have the minivan doesn't have a max fill line or anything.
No,
right? No, not at all.
It has this is 100% true. It has goats ratchet strapped to the top, living goats going. Ah! That is what farmers do in Afghanistan. And to understand that, you have no business changing it, right? And so when Robert Gates says we can do a better job, well, you didn't with agriculture, and it's real simple with those guys. It's real simple.